Dr. Wan Rizal.
Question 16, sir.
Mr. Speaker, may I take PQ 16 by Dr. Wan Rizal, PQ 17 by Ms. Joan Pereira in today's order paper,
Yes,
as well
please.
as PQ by Dr. Tan Wu Ming for tomorrow's sitting. All are on the same subject.
Please do.
Members have asked about the recent premature online release of an NTU test paper, what the root causes were, and also whether all our institutes of higher learning have sufficient measures to prevent similar incidents from occurring. The IHLs have protocols to prevent unauthorized access or premature release of examination papers. These include password protecting digital copies of the examination papers and only releasing the password to students just before the scheduled examination time, hosting e-assessments on internal platforms with controlled access, and storing printed copies in secure locations with restricted access. NTU is conducting an internal investigation into the leakage of a test paper that occurred earlier this month. NTU's preliminary assessment is that the premature online release of the test paper was due to human error on the part of an administrative staff. The individual had failed to password protect the electronic version of the test paper, which was meant for students taking the test online. As a result, the students were inadvertently given access to the questions before the test started. NTU undertook remedial action to ensure a fair assessment process for all students by having a retest with reduced examinable topics and extended counseling support to affected students. NTU takes this matter seriously and is reviewing its internal protocol and staff training to prevent recurrence of similar incident. Dr. Tan had filed a parliamentary question for the 29 November sitting and asked whether there had been similar occurrences over the past 3 years. There were 5 isolated incidents within this period where examination papers were leaked ahead of time, affecting a small minority of the undergraduate student population for the more serious cases. The IHLs acknowledge the additional stress on students where there is a need to retake examinations. Sufficient time is provided for students to prepare for the re-examination. In addition, lecturers and mentors avail themselves to support affected students. Students who require more assistance can also turn to para-counselors or professional counselors in the IHLs.
Dr. Wan Rizal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the MOS for her reply. I declare that I'm an academic staff at an Institute of Higher Learning, and clearly my concern is really for the students, and I share MOS concerns that this is an added stress for our students. And she mentioned about allowing sufficient time, but I would like to ask the ministry if they could actually prepare a guideline, a standard set of guideline for all IHLs to adhere to, just in case this incident happens again. That means the students has a standard time to prepare for the next make-up exam. My second question is on actually for the lecturers themselves. I think one of the fears that for us is when the exam papers leak, we need to prepare alternative papers. And in this case, there could be incidences where we need to prepare more. Can the ministry provide assurance that we do not have to prepare too many alternatives in such incidences in the future?
Can I request Dr. Wan Rizal to repeat the second SQ, please? You mentioned that in some instances, the lecturers may have to prepare for several papers.
Yes, MOS. So one of the concerns on the lecturer shared with me is that now that we have to prepare make-up exam, we do have to make up exam papers. But with these incidents that are occurring, there might be an occurrence that we need to prepare more. And this is something that we are concerned about.
I think ultimately we have to understand the purpose of having examination, assessment, and tests. These are mainly to gauge the students' understanding of the topics that they have been taught and the ability to apply the knowledge that they have gained during the course of their lessons. Now, on guidelines for IHLs to adhere to and standardizing the time for students to retake exams, I think we need to understand that there are different types of tests and exams and assessments for different disciplines, as well as subjects. Some may be covering many topics, some may be very few topics, for some tests, the students may need a lot of time to prepare. For some, may be modular in nature, so it may not always be practical to prescribe a standard time for students to prepare for re-examination. On the second point about the lecturers and the staff having to prepare for more make-up examination papers, I believe that our institutes of higher learning do work as team, at the team level and not at the individual level. And indeed, it's useful for each institute of higher learning to have its own system and also have some flexibility to prepare for not just the main exam, but also for contingencies. Thank you.
Dr. Tan Wu Ming.
I thank MOS for her answer. I've Clementi residents who are following the news of this. I've got one supplementary question. MOS mentioned that the IHL ascertained the cause of the mistake as human error. Can I ask whether there's been a deeper dive into whether there were measures to intercept human error before it led to an impact for many exam candidates? For example, did the web portal have safeguards so that an online exam needed to be uploaded in encrypted or password-protected format? And likewise, whether there were other processes to reduce the risk of one human error affecting an entire cohort of exam candidates. Thank you.
For this case, which occurred quite recently, NTU is still in the process of conducting its investigation and is also looking at further safeguards that it could consider to prevent such human errors from affecting future examination. Thank you.